Good day, everyone. I'm Tim Taylor, Marketing Manager at gtechna, and I'll be moderating this session. Glad you could make it to join us to kick off the first day of the 2020 virtual CPA conference. Thanks for attending our session, Parking in a Pandemic, using the power of online services to improve your enforcement program. In the wake of COVID, automating transactions has become even more pertinent, not only for operational benefits, but for safety and security. In previous webinars, we've had some interesting discussions around operational and financial benefits of ticket by mail, as well as how to ensure your laws can support this type of contactless service. Today, we'll be hitting on a similar subject with a demand for contactless services becoming front and center during our public health crisis. Before we get started, I'll touch on a few housekeeping items for the presentation to run smoothly. Throughout the duration of this session, you'll be on mute. However, we do strongly encourage you to send questions through your chat pane. Also, it would be greatly helpful if you could indicate what slide you're talking about when you have a question. All questions will be queued up for a Q&A period at the end of the session. And we have on hand, working in the background, our senior sales engineer, Jason Casimir. He's going to be fielding any questions that come in. He may even answer some during the course of the webinar and some at the end for the Q&A period as well. So we're very pleased to have our own VP of Professional Services and Products with us today, Marc-Andre Chartrand. And Marc-Andre has a bachelor's degree in software engineering and an MBA with a specialization in finance, management, and entrepreneurship. He started his career building and deploying SAP solutions. He then led a team building a solution for content capture, metadata extraction, and process automation. Marc-Andre's profile is at the intersection of business and technology. Marc has been with gtechna for 4 years. And without any further delay, I'm going to pass it over to Marc-Andre. Marc-Andre.
Great, thanks, Tim. Let's kick it off. Should be a fun session today. It's a bit weird because we're talking about a virtual CPA, and what we're trying to discuss today is really about how can we make it virtual also for your internal team and your internal program. So I want to discuss with you today, let's push some services to online, and we think this is a real way that you can improve your program. What we felt with some customers through the pandemic is that a lot of them have seen that as an opportunity to try to come out stronger, to try to a bit challenge the status quo and try to find ways to innovate and to add new services that will better serve their citizens. And that's what we're trying to achieve and discuss with you today. Honestly, we want to make that a discussion, so I strongly encourage to send any questions through the pane. And as Tim said, Jason will capture them, and we'll come back to all these questions at the end of the session to try to make that a discussion and share any info we would have with you. So let's get it off, everyone. Contactless. That's not the first time in the last weeks you've heard about contactless for sure. So we're not reinventing the wheel here, but in the enforcement program, you have a lot of contacts with citizens. So there's a lot of opportunities to go from contact to contactless, and to make it very as efficient as we can for both the citizens, the residents, but also your internal team in the process. I think that's something that the citizens expect, that you'll find innovative ways to still communicate with less direct interaction. And that's also something that your staff expect. How can I serve the citizens as well, but not putting my health at risk? So it's really a critical, it's about safety and security, and that's the type of solutions we want to discuss with you today. I'm not learning anything. You won't be learning anything new here, that interacting with government is not always fun. Of course, a lot of cities are doing the best they can, but honestly, some of the interaction we have to do with the city staff is not always the best one we can do. So in the past, we've always had to drive to the city office, to the city hall, to talk with the city staff. We had to sometimes stand in long lines and waiting to talk to someone. Sometimes even right now, the capacity is limited, so you have even longer lines and more wait to discuss with the staff. Transparency is not always there. I'm not going to be here for 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. So that's something we're trying to really push forward and make it even better. So it's not about saying that you're not doing a good job as a city, but honestly, I've never heard of anything who said, today is such a nice sunny day. I'm really looking forward to get up and go spend 4 hours to City Hall to try to contest my ticket. Never happened, I think. No one ever said that. So that's what we're trying to discuss with you today. How can we make that from sometimes painful to as easy and as smooth process as we can, and to better serve the citizen in the end, but also to have a better use of your city staff and be as efficient as you can to do more with less in the end. To be able to achieve this, we try to push more online services at the middle of the city and the residents. It's about pushing more self-serve services and making it as smooth as possible for your staff. So more and more, your residents will expect to do it by themselves. They don't want to talk to staff for anything they have to do to schedule a meeting. They can do that online. More and more people expect to be using these tools to be able to interact with you. So that's what we think you can deploy and make it as efficient as you can. To walk through to this enhancement, we'll try to use two cases. The good guy, John Be Good, who will pay his ticket, and the bad guy that you really know is the one who creates a lot of the headaches with the city staff. Eddie Otrod doesn't want to pay his ticket, so he'll go through the end of his process to make sure he doesn't pay, or will try not to pay the ticket. So we'll walk through to these two user stories there so that you can relate and see where maybe there are some tools that can help smoothen the process here. The good parker, John Be Good. He's good? Well, he's kind of good because at first he did not pay for his parking. How Johnny Be Good will see that is that he didn't pay because he didn't want to pay. He didn't pay because he didn't see the sign. He thought it was Tuesday that was free and not Wednesday. There's a good valid reason for John Be Good to not pay his parking and why he got a parking ticket. And now he doesn't feel good. He's not here to try to contest the rules. He's okay with try to be compliant, but now he just wants to get away with it as fast as we can to be able to move with something else in his day and to keep it a nice sunny day and not ending up having a lot of headaches today. So he's gonna go online ASAP, try to check, okay, is this ticket valid? He's gonna go to the parking hub, capture his ticket information, and see if it's a valid ticket or not. He said, yeah, that's really the ticket I got. Oh, good, there's a pay ticket button. I don't want to go to City Hall and make it a long thing. I want to be compliant ASAP. So I'll go online, I'll pay my ticket, and then there we go, payment successful. Good, I'm free. That was a very good learning experience for John Be Good. He won't do it anymore. He will check it 2 times next time about, is it Tuesday, Wednesday that parking is free, and is it the right zone for me where I pay the parking? So that's been a pretty quick, and John Be Good didn't just want his goal in this was to be compliant ASAP to move on with some other stuff he wants to do. So that was the simple case, the parker we all like, that just understand we need compliance in the end to respect the rules that the city and the bylaw that the city has put forward. Then the not so good parker, Eddie Otrod. Eddie Otrod is always right. Eh? He thinks he pays enough taxes. He should be able to park anywhere in the city. So he will go to the end of the process to make his point that yes, he was allowed to park at that point in time. He will say no to everything. He will try to challenge everyone. So it's about getting him on a path, on a road that will raise the compliance and that will make it as a strong argument for him with the best, I would say, the best justification so that he sees that he was not compliant in the end. So Eddie Otrod didn't pay for his parking. He got the parking ticket like John Be Good did. He will go to the check status online. He will see that indeed he didn't pay for this parking. So this year we want to push as much information to Eddie Chartrand that we can. He will see his ticket. He will see the map where this happened. He will see also the pictures that were taken there for there. So it's about really showing that he was not compliant. We want to make it a case that would stand in the end in front of a judge or a hearing officer. It's about giving him the good justification to show that yes, he was not in compliance at that point in time. At that point in time, though, Eddie Chartrand I will still find a way to get around this ticket and be able to contest it. So I don't recognize that these proofs are good enough for me. So I want to go through the process. So there's always this pay ticket button there, but for me, no, I want to appeal my ticket because I think I was wrong. I was not wrong, I was right, and the city was wrong to issue that ticket. So I will contest, I will appeal that ticket. Do I have to go to City Hall to appeal? No, I shouldn't. We should try to put as much as we can as a self-serve mode where Eddie will be able to appeal online at that point. So we will capture his information. We'll ask him for email address. He will be able to, of course, he might be right also Eddie in the end. So we want him to give a chance to make his case and to fill his reason here. So he will still see the same proofs at that point in time with the pictures, with the ticket, and he will still decide to still submit an appeal in the end. At that point in time, it's about having good communication. We want to be transparent with Eddie Chartrand. You know, we're not trying to screw you, Eddie, at that point in time. We're just trying to walk through to the process and to explain to you why you should have paid your parking. We're taking on a path where we communicate to him a lot of good information about why he was not compliant. So sending emails to the process, confirming that the appeal was submitted as well and well received is something that will make a long road with Eddie Chartrand because he wants to make his case. He wants to be listened to. So communication is key in that part of the process. Now we go to the city staff point of view, where they will receive a list of appeals to be reviewed. At that point in time, they will be able to review the appeal from Eddie Chartrand. They will be able to add a disposition. If the ticket is waived, maybe a cancellation reason in the process, we can set up pre-configured notes because pretty much all the time it's the same reason, the same justification that comes in. So all these notes would kick in, and the city staff will be able to quickly answer the appeal and submit a justification part of the process. So Eddie Chartrand is still not happy with his declined appeal. So he would come back to the self-serve portal. He would still have the option to pay the ticket, but at that point in time, we'll decide to go to court. We'll decide to schedule a hearing. Again, do we want Eddie to call to schedule his hearing and have to counter-check the calendars from Eddie, from the city, find the right spot? No, let's try to bring the calendar online so that he can schedule his hearing by himself. He will capture the data. He will pick a time slot for the appeal. So here's really the calendar that your city staff will set up with all the time slots you want to open. If you have one officer, if you have two screening officers, three, it can be multiple calendars. You could say that there's one time slot on the Tuesday AM from 9 to 12, but then on the Thursday, I have three hearing officers. So I'll open 3 time slots at that point in time, and I'll make them available. So let's say that in this case, there's only one hearing officer on the August 7 in the morning. Once Eddie picks the 10 a.m. meeting for the hearing, it will be marked as red and unavailable for other people who want to schedule their appeal. So it's a dynamic calendar that will be pushed as a self-serve calendar so that your team doesn't have to take and schedule for hearings internally. Again, once he submits his request for a hearing, communication is important. So he will receive an email that will tell him to come to City Hall at what point in time, at what time and day, and so on, and which room, and all the information you would submit part of that appeal. So if we go back to the flow again, at that point, Eddie or John have asked to go on the parking hub to see their ticket and all the good justification. They might want to go to the appeal and then also to an appointment and an hearing through the calendar. What we see more and more as a trend also, in the past we saw mostly in-person hearing. We see that people want to go online, virtual for appointments. So we could synchronize that with a Zoom, a Teams, a Google Meet calendar to be able to schedule all these time slots with online appeals. What we can do is also is a multi-phase approach, where of course at first you go to an online appeal, then you go to the scheduled appointment, and then you can go a virtual appointment at first, and for the extreme cases or just the last 10%, 5%, you go to an in-person appointment. People like to not have to drive their car to City Hall to do that quick. 15, 30 minutes, it's done. I've had my appeal. I had the opportunity to state my case and to justify my case with an officer. So that's something that we see more and more cities try to push towards these virtual meetings. But we should see that as a phased approach where we can go from online appeal through virtual or in-person hearings later in the process. It can be multiple staggered process like that. So what we've seen today is that we think that interacting with government can be fun. Paying a parking ticket will never be fun, but at least if it's being efficient and I feel as I've been listened to, I don't have to lose time to the process. It's been fun for either a good John B. Good Parker or not so good Eddie Outward Parker. They will feel they had a chance to be listened to, and with a smooth process and a quick process to it. So, and also for your city staff, they will be able to do more with less and be able to really support a lot of the high demanders for their services in a smart way. And that's what we wanted to walk with you through it today. We hope it was a good reflection exercise for you, and you saw some online services that you think could be value-added services for your residents and your city staff. So Tim, I'll come back to you on that point for a Q&A session, and it will be our pleasure to answer any questions that you would have at this point in time.
Marc-Andre, thank you very much. Thanks for walking us through that. Jason Casimir is on hand. He's our senior sales engineer, and he'll look at the questions and let us know what came in.